Vlogmas is like challenging. I know that people don't seem to think it is, but vlogging every day is tiring. It is difficult to like think about it and editing it and having the pressure to edit things there and then. It's like it can take a lot longer than you expect. I mean, it's not the same as like a 9-to-5 job or anything like that, and obviously it's not the same as like, I don't know, being a fucking bricklayer. But my point is that like mentally it can be quite fatiguing to vlog every day.
And New Year's Eve, all the emotions, the overstimulation. I think I just collapsed a little bit in terms of like mentally, not physically. Although I do have to say I have laid in bed, like it is January 5th right now. I have been laying in bed the past 5 days. I didn't do anything, laid in bed. I didn't make any like warm food for myself.
I don't know, is she going through a depressive phase? That sounds like depression to me. That's not a healthy way to be, just laying in your bed. I couldn't do that. But obviously, I'm not saying her depression isn't real or anything. It's just like, there's something else I talked about in one of my videos, and people were commenting on it as well, that people just do experience mental health differently. And obviously that's totally fine. It's just, you know, obviously I'm reacting, so I'm trying to relay it back to my experiences. But I'm not somebody that can just spend a whole day doing nothing. I find that very difficult. I'll have to do something. Well, first of all, I've got dogs, so I don't have a choice but to get up a few times a day and walk my animals. I can't not do that. But to just not do nothing all day long, I don't know. I just can't. I have to really force myself to not do any work on the day, on a daily basis, that is. And I guess it's just a personality type sort of thing. Some people just are very like, maybe not ADHD, because I don't actually think I have ADHD. I like to joke about it, but I don't think I do. But I do think I'm a very restless person. So for me to just like lay in bed all day long, I have to be sick. I'm basically sick if that happens.
I did order online some junk food here and there, or well, not junk food, or is that like fast food, not candy, but fast food. It feels as if I have binged.
I would deem fast food still as junk food. Anything that I would consider anything junk food that isn't like made of whole food. So if you, for example, order, for example, here in Bulgaria, you can order like grills and salads and stuff like that for delivery. I would not consider that junk food. I do consider things like KFC and McDonald's junk food. Like anything that's just like ultra processed, deep fried, simple carbs, high fat, that sort of stuff. Like the foods that makes your taste buds just tingle to the max. I was going to say something else, but I couldn't think of it.
Single day, which isn't true. I binged I think 3 times in the last 5 days, so it's pretty bad. The binges weren't, oh my god, I don't want to talk about it. Like I want to explain it, but I want to explain it good. But also, like, in the end it doesn't even matter. It's just I really want to pick up and go again. So yes, just to keep it with the facts, that always helps me. I did binge. Little mister, come on. That's way too dangerous for you, little drumstick. By the way, tomorrow his paw will be shaved again, so he will be like my really, really drumstick again. It will be bare, it will be naked, it will be super cute and kissable. So I binged 3 times, and then it really got to my head, and mentally it really, I already felt bad mentally, but that was just like the little drop that made it all just go boom. And mentally I have been through some really negative thoughts, feelings of hopelessness and despair, and I don't know, like this sounds really intense, but it was a really bad one. And I promised myself, I talked this over with my ED specialist a few months ago, I promised myself when I get in a period again where I feel so bad that I feel, oh my god, I think I'm going to slip back into a relapse, where I go back to binging a few times a week, like 3, 4, 5 times a week. I promise to myself, if that happens.
Yeah, because this is, didn't she say a couple of weeks or even months ago? Because I kind of watch her videos usually like a couple of weeks after they've been published. But did she say that she technically didn't qualify for a binge eating disorder anymore because of the fact that she hadn't binged for like a certain period of time? Or am I confusing her with somebody else I reacted to? That's possible. I think that was her, maybe.
Again, I don't want that to happen, and I will seek treatment for outpatient facilities stuff. Yuki, come on. So in the Netherlands, unfortunately, that I know of, that my dietitian knows of, there are not facilities yet, because I really, really hope that they There will be some in the future, but there are not facilities where you can go when you...
That's interesting that there isn't any inpatient facilities for binge eating. I'm sure there is probably for anorexia and stuff, obviously. Usually there is some, but I'm surprised that there isn't any actually. I would have thought that there would be some. The Dutch medical system is quite progressive, so strange.
You are obese, like as obese as me, because there are a few. I did have contact with a few like a few years back, and for all of those facilities I had like a too high BMI that I was like,
really? That's crazy. So it's like she's basically she's too big to be treated for her obesity. She's too fat to be treated for her fatness. That's crazy. How does that even work? How does that even work that you're too big? Surely that's the whole point of it. Like the higher the BMI, the better a candidate you are, right?
too high BMI for like this weight related stuff. But I do get it. They don't want to take the risk, I think. That's just speculation though, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But unfortunately, they don't have like a place that's really focused on people that have binge eating disorder. So that's very unfortunate. But still, I did make the promise to myself when this happens again, in like the long term, not after like one slip up, whatever, it's okay. But if it happens in the long term and it lasts for months on end, I will go seek some outpatient treatment. And that was one thought that really kept or stuck with me, that I was like, I don't want that to happen. Like, I don't want to go and do outpatient. I want to just stay at home with my own cats, with my own environment. With
the thing is though, it's like if you're not able to overcome what you need to overcome yourself because you haven't got the willpower or whatever it is, then sometimes it is maybe better to go to outpatient. And I get that you don't want to do outpatient because I wouldn't want to leave my animals behind, but at the same time, if that's what's going to make you happier and healthier longer term, then maybe it's an okay thing to bite that bullet for. I don't even know, how long do you go for inpatient? I guess it depends, right? There is no time. There is no time on it, right? I guess you start off at like a couple of weeks or a month or something like that, and then you stay longer if needed. So yeah, maybe that could be a problem with her cat care, because you can't leave the cats alone for like weeks on end either.
my own bed, my own comfort zone. Oh my god. This is what you wanted. You wanted to claim this spot for yourself, you nasty fucker. So yeah, but that was a thought that really kept me going, and I was like, I am not going to do this. I'm not going to slip back. I just refuse to slip back. Like, get your shit together and come on. And I tried to do that, not as strict as I'm saying it to you right now, because I tried to not be that strict.
I think there's nothing wrong with talking to yourself like that. I think there's nothing wrong with sometimes giving yourself a proper telling off and basically tell yourself to pull up your big girl panties and sort it out and stop being a little pussy. Like, I do that to myself all the time. Maybe that's a bit weird, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Obviously, like, don't call yourself like worthless and disgusting and stuff like that, but to go like, look, you can do this. Stop being a little funny. Just fucking do it. I think that's totally fine.
Myself anymore. Yesterday and then today I did restrict a lot because of like, I don't know, I think that the reality of like, oh my god, I did binge, it really set in, and I was like, nope, we're not going to do this. And then I started to restrict heavily again, which is, I don't know, like mentally I'm in a better place when I'm restricting than when I'm eating too much, because when I eat too much I feel horrible, and when I restrict I also like, I feel nauseous, I have headaches, I feel dizzy, I also feel like physically my body really is screaming.
I wonder if she restricts, if she does like a really extreme restriction, because it sounds like what she's explaining basically sounds like she's just hungry, right? That's why you get headaches and you feel dizzy and stuff like that. So does she go from extreme overeating to restricting where she's eating like 1,000 calories? Because that's stupid as well, because that's just going to make you binge, isn't it? Oh, it's like, I understand how people end up in these cycles because they're just not consistent. In my opinion, the best thing you can do, like I said already, is that if you've had a binge, just go back to your normal eating the next day. It will take a few days, that weight will come off. If you've gained any weight, it's just water weight, water retention from the carbs, the sodium and stuff like that. But just get back to where you were. Or if you just don't feel as hungry, eat less because you don't feel as hungry, but don't purposely restrict, and maybe aim to prioritize your protein intake. Eat lean proteins. Because I can assure you, eating eating just chicken breast with a bit of salad, you can eat a lot of chicken breast, and it's not going to be a lot of calories, but it's going to be filling. So prioritize your protein, cut back on your carbs maybe, or like your fats or whatever. Don't even do that, but like at least prioritize your protein. Prioritize your protein overall. you should do that anyway. But you know, especially if after a binge, you probably didn't eat much protein and you probably ate a lot of sugars and fats, so, or carbs and fats.
Some healthy food, some veggies, some meat, stuff like that, protein. But I don't know, like the thought of like I'm doing something good. It's not really doing something good, restricting. I don't know, I cannot really explain it. I could try to, but I'm not going to.
Well, it's not good because it's like you shouldn't purposely restrict unless you're trying to like actively diet. And if you do restrict, the restriction should be minimal. You should always diet. You should create a restriction that is as small as possible for it to be effective. And then when that stops working, you cut back a little bit on the calories. You add in a little bit of cardio. What's the point of starting at like 1,000 calories with 3 hours of cardio? Well, yeah, you're going to get results, but at what cost though? Fucking up your metabolism. Not that you can actually damage your metabolism, but the point is like you don't have to do it like that. It can be done in a healthier way. I can assure you. It really doesn't have to be extreme like that.
That in this video, but mentally I do feel better once I restrict, because I feel as if I'm gaining back the control that I let loose of like in the previous day whilst binging. So that's how I feel right now. I do feel a little bit motivated again. For the past few days, like I said, I only laid in bed. Just the lack of motivation to do anything. I didn't want to cook for myself. I didn't want to clean myself. I didn't want to even be awake.
She had a depressive phase. That's absolutely depression if you're like that. If you don't even want to wash yourself, then yeah, you're pretty depressed. If personal hygiene goes, that's usually not a good sign.
Every time that I would wake, I would be just as soon as possible that I felt, I would try to not wake up and then go back to sleep. There was one night where I woke up at like 8:30 p.m. and I slept through the whole day. I went to bed, it was dark outside. I stood up, like I woke up, it was dark outside. And I was really like, oh my god, these are the first signs of where my slip-ups happen. These are the first signs of where my relapses happen. So don't do this. Like don't go for it. I don't know. I have talked a lot. I have thought about it a lot. I don't know really what happened, like what helped me. I really have to think about that for like next time when this happens. I still have to process a lot. So it probably is going to take me a few weeks to figure this whole thing out. But I am doing better now, and I'm like, yeah, let's just go.
I'm gonna guess what helped to get out of it is just to break the cycle, and that's all you can do. Because once you start getting into a cycle of like bad habits or negative thinking and just becoming, it's difficult to get out. It's like you have to create the habit of. For me, for example, I create the habit that I wake up, I walk my dogs, I go to the gym. At the moment, I'm training a lot in the evening. With my job, I can determine my working hours, but regardless, I go to the gym in the mornings because that's what I do. Every morning I go to the gym. Shush. And what I do at the moment is I do my cardio, I do some stretching, I do some posing, maybe grab a sauna, depending on how busy I am. But it's just that start to the day of like getting up, walking my dogs, and then going to the gym. It's just like, it's been my routine for almost as long as I can remember. It's not that extreme, but since pretty much my bodybuilding journey, since I started training almost a decade ago, that's always what I've done. It's just to do exercise in the morning. I like to start my day with exercise. And to not do that feels weird to me. Like I don't need to do it. There is days where it doesn't happen. I mean, obviously I have to walk the dogs. Like that's not a choice. But you know, if I do go out the night before, I won't go to the gym then, or maybe I'll go later, or maybe I just won't go to the gym at all. So it's not like I feel the need to, but it's just a habit. You know, it's just like instinctually, habitually, I just eat certain healthy foods all of the time because that's what I do. And I think to then break that cycle, it's kind of to say, the point with this is that she ends up in cycles of negative thinking, of low self-worth, of being lazy, quote unquote lazy. It's kind of depression, but like being in bed, not wanting to do cooking, not wanting to clean, not wanting to clean herself, not wanting to ordering takeout, and the takeout that makes you feel bad, and then you're sitting in your own filth, like literally. That then has a negative impact, and then you're tired and you're lazy because you're not doing anything, you're not expending energy, and like nothing is exciting you because you're not doing anything to give you like any happiness, because you're just in your bed looking at your phone, probably on Instagram all day long. Whereas it's like all of the overconsumption of social media makes you feel bad. So it's like you need to just not do that. You need to just get up, go like, okay, well now my next meal is just going to be a healthy meal, and I'm going to cook it from scratch, and I'm going to eat it whether I want to or not. And I know that's a very black and white way of thinking, and like I'm not saying that works for everybody, but it's like that's a lot of it is like that though. A lot of it is just a case of stop doing negative things, stop doing. You have to break the cycle. That's basically what it is. Because once that cycle gets broken, you'll probably keep you keep going into it, which is normal. It takes a long time to completely break it, but eventually, the more you break it, the more you start doing more things for yourself, taking care of yourself, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. That's where growth happens. That's when you start changing. But if you don't do that, you're never going to see the change.
Go on with all the progress that I did make, like waking up, doing some YouTube work, cooking for myself, trying to eat healthy so that I can lose some weight, so that I can move better, so that I can venture out more, so that I can do some more stuff, so that I feel more happy, and so like the positive circle continues. So I am just like, it's not like an in this moment decision that I'm like, yeah, I feel some motivation, let's go for it. I have felt
it's never about motivation. I wish people would stop relying on motivation. Nothing is to do with motivation. It's all about doing the shit that needs to be done because it needs to be done. If I relied on motivation, I would barely train. Like, I'm not bothered half the time to go training. I do it. Like, when I'm there, I'm having a good time. Once that pre-workout kicks in and the drum and bass gets going, I'm all about it. Don't get me wrong. But up until then, I ain't about it. I'm just like, fuck, do I need to go out? It's raining. I want to stay inside. I want to eat some nice food. But the reality is that, like, you just do it. Like, you don't rely on motivation. You do things because you want to change. And it's just a sheer case of fucking willpower and discipline. The reason people are successful, and like this, like, you know, with my vlogs, a lot of my vlogs is a repetition of the same fucking shit over and over. I don't think my life is particularly exciting, but at the same time, I get results. And I get results, why? Because I do the same things over and over and over and over. And that's how you get good at anything. And obviously, like, I'm not the best, I'm not even a pro. But I can definitely show you my progress. If you look at my physical progress from when I started my channel to now, you can see that I've improved every year. I become a better bodybuilder. Every year I improve on the things that I'm doing because I work on it. The point with that is that the reason why I improve is because I'm consistent. I'm not 100% on point all the time. I don't think really anybody is. And some people maybe are, but I don't get paid to be on point. Like, I don't, you know, nobody pays me to look a certain way. I do it because I want to. But that's the reality of it. The reality of it is just doing same shit day in, day out. Ad infinitum, I believe, is the correct terminology. That's just what gets results, unfortunately.
pretty bad for the past few days, even before